We are back once again. Following up our video from yesterday, we went over what we thought the teams ranked in on the Lazy River. Now we're going over to the Roaring Rapid divisions. Me and Cairo Jennas once again are back. Say hello.
Hello, hello, we're back again.
Yes, sir. And we're just gonna hop right into it. Again, same disclaimers as last time. This is based on your rosters up to week 2, with some consideration of how you fared in those weeks mixed into the bunch. So, as always, we're just gonna jump straight into it. Starting at the bottom, we have the Germany Gemstones. Now, this team is something that has some pretty good pieces, but I think they just really don't stick together very well. Curious to see what you think about this team in general.
Yeah, so I see a Brute Bonnet, and I presume it's going Trick Room. There's no sun here, right? That's what we're looking at. Our Trick Room setter is a Spiritomb. And then we have a Pelipper, right? Which I'm assuming is for Landorus, I, I guess.
Yeah, I just don't
And
really
Manaphy,
see what's
I
going on
suppose?
here. Man, there's like
Yeah,
Lando is good and like Peli is
Ogerpon's
good
good.
and Ogerpon is good, but like man, this team just has no identity. I think Brute Bonnet is pretty fake, especially outside of Sun. It's not really doing it for me here. And I mean, yeah, our our speed control is Pelipper, but we have almost no rain synergy. I really don't understand quite
Hey, don't forget
what's
the
going on here.
Spiritomb. That's some speed control too.
Spiritomb, I can get that Trick Room up. You know, I won't disrespect him like that. Unfortunately, he's a Spiritomb, so you know,
Yeah.
win some,
Well,
lose some. But I mean, between Lando and Ogerpon, this team can do some damage. But again, I don't even think it's very good at that. Uh, I don't know.
yeah.
This team does have some solid redirection tools. It has 2 redirectors, so that can make it pretty hard to play around. So maybe there's weeks you like can get a tail glow off on Manaphy and go off, and that's enough to win the game with your solid protection. You know,
Yeah, like
there's
the
things
redirection
to do
plus
here.
hydration Manaphy. Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
the route.
but yeah, just not a lot of cohesion in the identity here, I think, and that's why it ranked a little low in our books. So moving on, we got number 11, Palatown Mafia, a staple of the league, but unfortunately, I don't think this team quite stuck the landing. Now, Staraptor was a pickup in week 2, and that was a massive pickup for this team. Gives it some more room outside of Sun, gives it some actual defensive counterplay with Intimidate. But for the most part, this team really is Sun or bust, and to its credit, Walking Wake with a GU next to it in Sun is an insanely threatening 1-2 combo. So if that Sun is up, you're gonna be cruising, and it's gonna be hard to
Yeah,
play around.
I think my biggest problem comes in our bottom 2 mons. I think Executor is very whatever, especially in this generation. And Scovillain kind of feels homeless with the Chi-Yu on the roster, right? Like his whole job is to unleash Specs, Terra Fire, Overheat, or like Heat Waves, or good fire moves. And Chi-Yu just does it infinitely better. So why is he here?
Yeah, I mean, this team, it, for one, is pretty susceptible to weather disruption, and for two, this really doesn't have, outside of that Staraptor, almost any defensive counterplay. You're gonna have to really, really play well, and
Yeah.
like end games super quickly with this team. Just like a strong Mon with like fake out pressure is really threatening. There's a lot of things that give this team issues. So like there's definitely, I mean, it's a Sun team, right? There's definitely like room to turn it around, and also sometimes your opponent's just not going to be ready for this offensive power, and so like this team can definitely win some games. It's just struggled to get off its feet a little bit in these first 2 weeks. I think there's something there though, you know.
There is some potential, and I can't completely discredit the roster because of that. And I did rank it last. I just think it's not working well together. Despite being something that clearly has an identity, it doesn't feel like it's complementing itself at all. It's just 2 Sunbreakers, call it a day. Slap on some more Sun guys because weather's good.
Uh,
Yeah, Staraptor is a very nice pickup. I'm a fan of
yeah,
that Mon.
Staraptor is huge for this team.
Like this Typhlosion can go, this Scovillain can go.
I don't. Yeah,
I think
I
it's a
mean,
good start.
that's a good start. At least, at the very least, I think Scovillain for sure has to go. Executor maybe could stay. It's fast sleep powder. That's like something else this
Yeah,
team can do. But
there's merit to that, but
yeah,
Scovillain's
I
really
I,
hard.
I think Scovillain's just not really worth the slot. Coming in next at number 10, we have a separate weather, the Windy City Flyers. And this team definitely, again, does have a decent enough identity between Politoed and Pelipper, but somewhere along the bottom, you just kind of start to get lost. I think Raikou, for one, is a bit redundant. Because honestly, in my mind, Archaludon is like a better Thunder spammer in Rain.
He
Like,
is.
obviously, Electro Shot, but
Like
like,
the shot, but yes, he is.
it's honestly kind of outclassed, even though it's not an electric type, which is funny. Jump Love really isn't doing anything for me outside of Sun. I'll be honest. I just
That's
think
the thing, though.
there's better Tailwind setters in that tier alone.
It's a dual weather team, which like it's cute on paper, but
Yeah,
how often are you really gonna fit all these pieces plus the utility pieces like Torracat that you want around it? This is not a very feasible roster.
yeah.
You only
I
bring
think
6.
I think if Raikou moved and Jump Bluff moved, I think for like a little bit of a more, yeah, either like a more reliable Tailwind setter or something else, maybe some nice redirection could be pretty good for this roster, which we
Yeah.
currently lack. So, I mean, that could be good. This team is not entirely dependent on Rain. There's things like Great Tusk that it can do. Great Tusk and Torracat honestly give some good defensive counterplay. But, I mean, it's just kind of middling for me. You know? It's just kind of an alright team.
I know what you
You know? Shout out Beartick. He's the GOAT. And he's on an actual Rain team this time, so
True, he is on a rain team this time around. That's a good start, right?
that's a pretty good start, you know, you gotta give him that. Beartick, he might be unleashed.
You know, maybe just pick a weather, get a better tailwind setter, call it a day.
Yeah,
You know?
I mean, there's something here. There's something here for sure. At number 9, we have the Summon Slowpokes, sporting one of the most powerful supporting Mons in the format with Amoonguss at the helm and Arcanine Hisui. Bit of a hybrid damage and support utility Mon. A lot of defensive switch-ins in this team. Double Intimidators and Amoonguss, and even Gothitelle. You kind of start to fall off a little bit there. This team does kind of struggle to do damage in my eyes.
Yeah. This is a Parish team because of Dugong Gothitelle.
Yeah,
But
but
the
like,
problem is there's no offense to support it really.
is Dugong really the pillar of our team? I don't feel great about that.
He's not the greatest Parish setter by any stretch of the imagination. You're not getting off many of them. Kind of predictable. He's not that fast. You're gonna get taunted. I don't know. There are some cute things you can do. Like you can Parish Song, fake out with Gothitelle, then flip turn, switch out Gothitelle, bring Gothitelle on the flip turn. You know, there's cute redirection and pivoting with it, and it's really hard
Yeah,
to
yeah.
break this Amoonguss Gothitelle. But the problem is, like you said, there's no damage. The only time this team feels threatening is when there's a Parish Song counting down, or I guess if you have Amoonguss, Diancie, and Trick Room.
Yeah,
That's like
this
that. It's not
team-
very scary.
It does have dual like Tailwind and Trick Room, so that's another benefit. Ditto is cute in draft, I feel like. Obviously, it's like pretty niche, but when it hits, it really hits, which for a low tier seems pretty great. I am, and I know Kaz is with me on this one, not a big fan of Amoonguss in draft. He's like one of the greatest Pokemon of all time, but in draft, it's pretty easy to tailor your team around him and make it so
Yeah.
he's pretty useless. But I mean, with that being said, he still has some benefits, you know, like a lot of Mons won't be able, you can only get one safety goggles, and you also only get one Terra. Just, especially if it's like a follow me Pokemon, you could start to struggle a little bit. And that's like kind of the main focal point of our team, I feel like. Like, it kind of
Definitely
revolves
is.
around this Amoonguss. So, I mean, yeah, this team, it could use like a little bit more of a threatening identity. I actually don't super love the Gothitelle. That's probably where I would look to make changes if I was going to try to do that. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's hard to get Perish going reliably with the mods you have currently. The
Yeah.
Screamtail I know is up and would be a better option if you wanted to go that route because that mod is just extremely threatening in a Perish core, especially if it has that protect disable technology that you'd be able to enable with Gothtail fake out pressure. But you can't like sit in this little middle way with Dugong. It feels a little awkward.
Yeah, there's something here though, and at the end of the day, if you have these strong defensive tools, you do have room to outplay your opponent when you're in the actual game. So it's not all bad. Coming in at our top 8, we have the Forgotten Furrets. This is going to be again our first, I feel like, Trick Room centered team. My main problem with it is that Comfey is not the most reliable of setters, but this team really does love to be in that Trick Room.
I was about to ask, who is the setter,
Yeah,
man? I don't see a
it's
setter here.
Comfey. It does
Oh,
get
it's
it,
Comfey.
which
Okay.
isn't fantastic. It does have
Okay.
some support, albeit
Yeah.
you don't really want to send out Magmar next to Comfey. It's not the most pressuring of starts. But
No, not typically.
if you are able to get up the room, Goldango and Blood Moon are just super threatening. You have some defensive intimidate support and some cute redirection with these two squires, which I mean isn't great, but depending on the matchup, it could be all right, you know. Yeah, I mean, I think that's just my main problem with the roster. It really would love to be in Trick Room a lot, but Comfey just isn't fantastic at getting it up.
Yeah, we probably just need to invest in a better setter somewhere. I don't know if it's that Oro slot or the Terrakion slot. But one of those two probably should become a better setter.
You could get a cheaper one too, even like this Pikachu could become Miss Drevis.
Yeah.
Like I
That's
understand
good.
why Luminion's here at least because our roster is kind of like water weak, but I think Pikachu could probably go for something else. I don't know.
I mean, then we're going to two unreliable triggers.
Yeah,
I feel
I mean,
like we could do better.
he could. Admittedly, I don't know where you would look to pick up a different Trick Room setter. We did see last week it also had Tailwind, I believe. So I mean, Comfey can do it both.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's
I just read the taunts.
yeah,
Now I-
it is a bit of a taunt fodder. I'll be honest, and that can be kind of rough, especially when
This team is so susceptible
your speed.
without it.
Yeah, I mean, your speed control really does. Either way, it just comes down to this one mon, which isn't a great spot. I feel like. But yeah,
Shout out the bear though.
shout out the bear. First Luna is always going to be good if you can get that Trick Room up. Even if you can't, you might have to invest that defensive Terra to make it work, but it's still pretty chill even with that. Our top 7, moving in, we have the Rotomon Washed, Sportin, two extremely powerful special attackers with that Magearna and that Raging Bolt, supported by Trick Room setters, and even a cute little Wheezing mode in the back with Toadsquirrel. So, something to watch out for. This team, honestly, does have a lot of guys who really don't mind having their abilities turned off, like Gligar and Unbound, and maybe even
And you can't turn off Raging Bolt ability.
you can now. They did patch that.
You can now. They changed that. Oh, thank
But
goodness.
I mean, like, sometimes you don't like some matchups you aren't even planning on proccing it. So like, if Weezing
Yeah.
comes out, who cares? You know. Obviously, Magearna's ability is so broken. I'll be honest.
We should never turn that off.
No, we should never be looking to turn that off. But I mean, there is potential for a Weezing mode here, and I honestly do think it adds some nice it adds some nice alternatives to what this team wants to do. You know, keep anything that you can do to keep your opponent on the back foot in the team builder is pretty good in my eyes.
Mhm.
I mean, like, obviously. Oh, you can go.
Sorry, I'm not really sold on these low tier mons. I know they kind of help. They kind of help the Wheezing mode a bit because well, one of them doesn't care about their ability. The other one's just a prankster guy, right? But what are they actually offering? 'Cause
Yeah,
doesn't
I
prankster
mean-
get stopped by Indeedee?
It does. So, like, obviously, you would never want. Well, yeah. Prankster here doesn't feel great in Psychic Terrain or next to Weezing. So, like, that's a bit awkward there.
Yeah.
Gligar, even though it does work well with Weezing, isn't really going to be doing much at all. So that's also not a fantastic like flaw in my opinion. But for that many points, it's like, how many other things are you even looking for? You know,
You can start dippling.
you could go Diplin, bro. You could start. You can
could
start
think
going
about it.
Diplin mode.
Think
Oh,
about
you
it.
might be onto something.
Yeah, or when we get that trick mode, we can start belly drumming that greeting. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Ooh.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm
Anyways,
just saying random mons.
this team. One problem I have with this team, it doesn't have much disruption to what the enemy opponent does. But that doesn't really matter as much, and you can just fucking murder them. So.
Blow their heads off. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, just blow their heads off. And you know what? This team is pretty damn good at blowing their heads off. And at the end of the day, that's got to count for something. Number 6, we have the stupid freaking rats. Our Urshifu Rapid Strike team with strong support mons like that Grimmsnarl, like that Raph, and that Poltergeist. Sporting off a Tailwind mode with that Corviknight. I feel like that's primarily where this team wants to play. It does have strong Trick Room setters. I'm mainly looking at that Giraffe, but its abusers are a little bit lacking. So I feel like this team really would be primarily relying on that Corviknight to gain its speed control.
Definitely seems to be that way, and I do like the Moth in here. It does seem a bit strange when you're running Rapid Strike. It's not really breaking for it. He punches through his checks pretty comfortably, and it's not very good in Trick Room mode. It's really only there for the Tailwind or like a booster week, I suppose. But
yeah,
it's hard to argue with the special breaker.
I think it does add some much needed damage. With Corviknight, it's a pretty good partner. You can just spam Sludge Wave for free, and that's always going to be threatening. And yeah, we do need some damage somewhere. Between Grimmsnarl and the Giraffe, who, I mean, can go on the offensive with, like, Nasty Paw and stuff, but
we're sinking a lot.
It's niche, and admittedly, we are kind of low damage, especially when we get into stuff like that Poltergeist and that Corviknight. Do the consistent chip damage, but again, we're looking for a little bit more than that. I do actually like Sneasel Hisui. Right?
Yeah, Sneasel Hisui.
I mean, that mon's actually does some solid damage. I won't even lie to you.
Is that Poltergeist or is that Sinistra?
That's that's Poltergeist. The little baby one.
Yeah. You know,
which I mean does get the ability, I think.
It does get the ability. That's what matters.
And it gets like Eviolite, Rage Powder, stuff like that.
Yeah,
it gets all the nice little tools.
But it loses the good part of Sinistra, which is it could actually be a damage thing.
Yeah, you do lose out on that. And on this roster, it could use some support in that area. And that's kind of what's like holding it back a lot. Unlike the Urshifu Rapid Strike roster in the other league, it's not in rain either, so you definitely feel a little bit worse about having it being the main damage threat. You know?
Yeah.
If you like need to Scarf Urshifu, it's going to do damage, but it might not really be doing enough damage. And if Urshifu goes down, you could struggle to close out games. So, with that in mind, this roster is pretty solid all around, but has a few issues a little bit closer. Now we finally cut into our top 5. Starting off with the Big Appletons. This roster is the only Tatsugiri Don Dozo roster that we've seen. The other league, just rocking solo Dozo, Tatsugiri undrafted. But, I mean, I think the pairing's like solid, especially since we've seen in the first 2 weeks that this team does have the ability to win without going commander mode, which I feel like is massive because, you know, obviously you see Tatsugiri Don Dozo in the loader, you're probably going to have
pack up a haze.
Yeah, pack up a haze, pack up something. There's probably going to be some form of counterplay that you're bringing. So having the ability to not actually go all in on that combo and still being able to pull out games, I think was a huge huge proving point for this team, and means that it actually can succeed. I feel like the rest of the roster is pretty solid. Volcarona I'm a huge fan of, especially in draft, where I feel like it's almost always going to be able to find some use between both of its sets, that being the sweeping set and the supportive Rage Powder set. Yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on this roster? Because it feels like kind of solid all around to me.
Yeah, it feels like a very nice, well-rounded roster. I like the double support and offensive flexibility with Rillaboom and Volcarona. I think the Sandy Shocks actually is pretty strong here. It's one of the better Terra. It's a pretty great Terra abuser as it is, just because of the nature of the Mon. It just does a lot of damage. Really, all he does. He spams Electro Web. He spams stab moves. He puts screens up if you really want him to, but that Mon's pretty awesome. He's got
Yeah.
a pretty good point range too. Drifblim, I think is fine.
Drifblim
As
is
a
like
utility mon.
Drifblim
He's
as
he's a
your
Tail setter, right?
primary speed control isn't. I mean, it's not the greatest mon of all time. It does feel a little bit better when you can run that Grassy Seed with that Rillaboom, though. Prop that
Yeah.
Unburden. And
And now you're just the fastest guy
now
ever.
you're just the fastest, and you're immune to Fake Out. So, I mean, that is pretty
Exactly.
reliable at getting up to.
I think it's fine here. I think it's fine here. I think it works out
it's
pretty
decent
well.
here, yeah. So, like, all in all,
Arbok's a good Intimidate user.
yeah,
I think
I mean,
he's a solid, bulky guy. That guy gets used for
Arbok's
stuff in
alright.
singles, so
Yeah,
I can deal with Arbok.
we probably would really want your Intimidator to be a little bit of a better mon, but you know, Arbok, there's worse options out there than Arbok. So
Shout out Luxio.
shout out Luxio. So I mean, I feel like nothing really stands out as being too bad on this roster. I mean, Girder's not really going to be able to come much, but it supports the Dondozo well and also has shown the ability to win without it. So that means it's pretty good in my eyes. We have our top 4 coming in next.
Hey.
What's wrong with my
Hey.
site? Hey.
There they are.
There they are.
Come back.
I knew I wasn't in.
Hey.
What the heck? Oh,
All right.
man. Well,
We gotta look at little mode.
We gotta go little for some reason. We have the Hitmon
Ew.
champs. All good.
All good.
But yeah, I mean, this is a bit of a size spam roster, and it's got 2 of the staples that we see in like normal play between Iron Crown and Gallade. So just the 2 insanely threatening mons, and you know, it's got Tornadus to back up that really solid damage core. So I mean, this roster is super threatening and hits a lot of the benchmarks that you want your draft team to hit. You got some nice supporting mons, really threatening AoE damage. With that in mind, there is a bit of overlap here, especially with that Sylveon. I think is a bit redundant since we're already doing so much spread damage, and it's also all on the special side. I don't really see what the Sylveon is bringing to the table that we don't already pack in spades. So I think that could pretty reasonably be something else. But I mean, this roster is super threatening, even like disregarding that.
If that was a nice old like Sarud or Sarulege there, a nice physical guy that
I think that would be awesome. Yeah.
I think they're pretty sick. You know, like I can see the vision between those guys. I would say, no, I kind of like this roster. Even with this, I think the Sylveon is a bit redundant. If they pick up another physical sweeper, I think this could be really strong. Because Crocodile and Gallade are already enough pressure. And Crocodile has the beautiful thing of being a Intimidate user as well, or a nice Moxie sweeper if it really needs to be. And there's plenty of supporting pieces around it. With Gallade could be a great supporting piece if it needs to. It's probably better off.
This team has great supporting units while also
like,
packing a ton of
so much flexibility. Like I'm a big fan of that because Tornadus can be offensive, Gallade can be offensive, and DD can spam spread moves. Like there's a lot to love here. Just a few pieces that could be cleaned up, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that redundancy is my main concern. When you overlap, like obviously overlapping is like fine and also can help in a lot of cases, but when it's like when there's so much like special spread damage, you open the door to really easy counterplay to stuff like Assault Vests and Wide Guard, like the 2 main ones that come to mind. So like, I think that's the main thing holding this team back, but I also think this team is 1 slot away from being easily one of the top teams. Yeah, we'll just leave it at that. Hopefully in the next slide, for Mr. Zoroark's Zoo, we can go back to full screen mode, and
we're big mode.
We're so back. These 3 and 2 teams, by the way, coincidentally, were rated the exact same on average. So honestly, it was a pretty much a coin flip to decide which one was 2, which one was 3. Interestingly enough, the 2 teams that kind of finessed the draft a little bit did this whack ass trade where they
It worked.
swapped their first and fourth rounds with their second and third rounds. So just the most insane draft strategy I've ever seen, and somehow both of them came out on top. I mean, this roster is just solid from top to bottom. I don't have to talk long about how Chen Pao D-Knight is super threatening.
Iconic combo.
Iconic combo, and, you know, some really fantastic supporting units with the next three. Got that
Sinister
Sinistcha,
Arcanine,
got that
Electabuzz.
Arcanine,
Oh.
got, I mean, Electabuzz.
The Vileplume late Rage
Yeah.
Powder down there. Monkey Dory to do a little more special breaking for you.
Yeah, I mean,
And
this
honestly,
team
Monkey
is
Dory has some good
so-
fake out support too. Like,
So solid.
come on.
Yeah,
Come on.
come on. Like, not much to say about this. Right?
Ah.
It's just solid all around. My one mark-off is that it's like speed control isn't great, but I mean, you're already
Yeah.
so fast. This team has so much priority. Like Chen
It's like, does
Pao,
it really need
and
the speed
Dragonite
control?
and
You know what I
Arcanine,
mean?
like, not really. Like, it kind of does. So like, it's not
Yeah.
like the greatest team in the draft, but it's pretty fucking close, I think. There's only so much you can knock it when you have such strong priority.
Yeah, this
coming off
Pewdiepie is kind of a
D-Knight.
waste in this roster, man. You know,
Dude, don't talk shit about Garton like that, bro.
Garton
Alright?
Eater of Worlds, man.
Do
I'm
not.
sorry.
I will not have the Cutify disrespect. Not
Hey,
on my
Cutify,
video,
huh? Look at you.
bro. Nah, come on, man. Show some fucking respect, man. You
My
make
bad.
me
My
sick.
bad.
I'm
bad,
so
man.
sick. I gotta move on to the other team on this trade in the draft, the
Uh.
Explorers Guild rookies. My God, this team is crazy threatening. I
This
mean,
feels like the winner to me.
it's
can I be
top.
honest?
Probably. I mean, you could definitely make an argument. Its top four are so insanely synergistic and work so insanely well together. The Sun mode is super threatening, and the Trick Room mode with that Oranguru and Torkoal is just fucking crazy. Obviously, there's some problems with this roster. You're gonna see the same 6 guys pulling up in a lot of weeks, admittedly. But is that
These little pop-ups sometimes.
Sneasel will pop up sometimes. Is that a huge problem when when the 6 guys just work so well together and they're so threatening?
No.
Not particularly in my eyes. I mean, there's enough versatility between some of these mons, and it's so hard to cover for just a single one of them that it can be hard to deal with so many things at once. I think this team is super good, even if it's so top
Extremely
heavy.
threatening.
Yeah,
Yeah. I top heavy done right.
top heavy. This is top heavy done right, I think. And Masquerain does come in and fill a lot of niches, but I think on this team it's mostly fine, since it's far from our only form of speed control. We have that Venusaur, we have like Icy Wind on that Flutter Mane. We also have that Trick Room. So, you know, Masquerain, it can come in, it can be Tailwind, it can be Intimidate, but it doesn't have to do it all, which means it's pretty good here, I think.
Guys
Big
didn't
fan
have a
of it here.
second and third round pick and still got Torkoal Oranguru.
Yeah,
I'm
that
gonna
is
be
kind of
sick.
insane. This
I'm
guy
gonna
pulled
be
up into the
sick.
4th round. He hadn't picked in like 3 rounds. He said it's time. Oranguru
It's
Torkoal.
time. Oh yeah, man. Let's go.
That's kind of disturbing, but not disturbing enough. Come our number 1 team that has to go to the Reggie Gigas. Now this team,
That's
this team is gross, bro. Incineroar Ursaluna with, I think, one of the best Trick Room setters in the format. That P2,
probably the best trick room setter.
probably. I mean, it's just so reliable at getting that Trick Room up, and you have so many defensive like switch-ins between P2 and Incineroar, and even that Uxie, that this team has so much wiggle room to position and outplay its opponents. Ursaluna with that Gyapdos is so threatening. Like, Ursaluna, when you can't intimidate it, is like, uh-oh, what do I do now? Like, it's faster than me because it's in Trick Room. I can't intimidate it because then Zapdos will one-shot my Bloodline. Like, do
You
I
just
just
parting
lose?
shot it, man. Oh wait, yeah.
Oh, he gets plus.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, this team is great. It's fairly versatile. You know, Yon Mega can make an appearance from time to time, although not like insanely consistent. But it's for sure gets it done.
He's a good tailwind setter.
He's a
for
good
the squad.
tailwind setter, especially since he can pretty often hold the Focus Sash on.
Yeah,
It's like-
he just speed boost, protect,
Yeah.
and then focus sash.
For
Tailwind up, now
for the
he's
tier that
going
it's in,
crazy.
it's fairly reliable at getting up tailwind.
Yeah.
And
Kind of gives me like Driftland vibes. You know, just wait
Yeah.
that one turn and now you're tailwinding for free.
yeah, this team, it could make the argument it's like kind of low damage because it. I mean,
Mhm.
you can't though, because like Ursaluna
Mhm.
and Gyaptos just do so much. It's like a tactical nuke in this team.
We haven't
If-
even talked about Toxicity either,
Yeah,
by the way.
we haven't even talked about Toxicity, who is just going. That thing is going to steal
That's
a
all he
lot of
does.
games. Yeah, I mean, all he does is just come out and click spread moves, and he's really damn good at it, man. Like, what else is there to say? This roster is great. Shout out Mash Diff, who is literally just
love
a
Mash
second Incineroar on this roster.
Yep, you know what?
I think that's so
Everyone
funny.
needs their buddy, you know? That's him. Everyone needs their buddy.
He's a cute little guy, man. I
He's a
don't
cute
know
little
what
guy.
you-
I would never complain about
yeah.
Mash Diff.
You and me both, bro. You and me both. But yeah, great roster. I think this is pretty deserving of the #1 team, and it showed it in its play. Coming
Yeah.
out and winning pretty solidly in the first 2 weeks. So,
No mascot. Loses points for me.
and no mascot though. We do need the Wug trio. I will say that. It might need to come out.
No, there's no Reggie Gigas in this squad, man. You named
Oh.
that.
Oh,
This guy has been
we
named
needed
Reggie Gigas forever.
Yeah. If you can drop like 12 points on Reggie Gigas, then your roster. Will
That'd be
good.
awesome.
Yeah, that would be
Your
awesome.
roster would be peak.
And then bring Wug Trio, and then you've checked all
Yeah.
the boxes.
Yep.
But that's going to be all from us today. Just for the bookkeeping, here are the final tallies of where these teams ended up in our eyes. But huge shout out to Kaz. Could not have done this without the help of him and his
WKaz.
input, WKaz. And that's going to be all from us today. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and best of luck to all your
Ring
future
that bell.
matches. Ring that motherfucking bell. Oh,
Oh, yeah.